getting in this Thursday review, 6/15/2017. SPY S&P 500 making higher highs, higher lows. Recent trend action after testing all-time high. It's kind of trading sideways in range. As it stands now, the big picture trend is still up in the SPY. So one pre-market mover I thought was worthwhile noting. Skyline was the top pre-market percent mover, about a 25% gap, I think. Right, so it was like way at the top. In pre-market, you could see the pre-market was up. So like there wasn't a lot of action, but it was just like maybe like a few 100,000 shares or something like that. Not even a few 100,000. Anyway, so what we saw right off the open was a gap up, spike up. So we like that. Just talking about like setups for fades. So setup being, Skyline's healthcare sector, former runner, penny stock. And has a tendency to have these gap ups and fade off to the end of the day. So it's kind of like some historical price action there. So we get a gap up, and you're looking for so the setup being just the gap up, and then what's the trigger, what's the entry? I gotta say, like something along these lines that we saw. We gap up, we test intraday at the high. And make a reject pretty hard right around getting close to about 240. So you're near the $0.50 mark, and then test down. Then once we test back up, I think this is the trigger where it's like, okay, at this point I'm starting to look for an entry after we your test. So I mean a couple different ways. Like you could right on this rejection right here, you could short. I mean you got to be pretty fast. Probably gonna get a bad fill. Or you could short in this little consolidation just underneath VWAP. Risk about 10 cents. Just look for a quick scalp, so maybe a quick 3-to-1. But just thoughts on a penny stock scalp. Skyline's definitely been one of those that it's high on the volume buzz as well. So a dump was nothing really. I don't think this was one good trade. Traded 2 stocks today. Had my first profitable day since the very first day that I traded. So. It should have been a lot more profitable than it was for a couple reasons, but still like it at least covered my fucking fees for the day and the fees, like commission fees and all that stuff. So first trade I took was Matt. So Matt is consumer cyclical sector. Mattel makes toys and shit. Definitely like long-term downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower lows. And so we kind of had an obvious level here at about 2150, kind of touch it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So the trigger was getting below that level. So the setup is going sideways with an obvious level in a downtrending stock. So trigger is once we get below this level, look to maybe short. First pullback, first flags, consolidation. So we're looking for those types of entries once we get below the level. So that's the setup. So the question is, what did the girlfriend test? Like, what was going against this trade? Well, we're kind of coming off a wide range day. Sure, it's not this wide, but in relation to, let's say the prior day was about 75 cents. This day was like $1.20. So I mean, it's definitely about 1.5 times the normal size of an average day in Mattel. And so that was kind of like one strike. Second strike is we gapped down below the level, so it would have been a lot nicer if we opened up in here and then kind of shot through the level. But it still didn't really matter. We got a nice thrust on volume. The volume was really good off the open, so we shorted the first bear flag into 75 cents. I think I got short, and then it was a stop above VWAP and just kind of let it work for the rest of the day. This is like one of my favorite intraday setups when it's making lower highs into an obvious level. But right here we kind of broke that level, and I think that should have been the first indication to see that there was no panic back below there. There are no new sellers coming in. So this is kind of like an intraday base now. And so once we made this higher high, higher low, I just kind of got out like right around. I had to stop in at 55 cents, but actually I had it at 21.55 like a moron. So I ended up getting out like 20.56. So made a little bit of money. but still a winning trade, right? That's what we're talking about. It's like not having fucking shitty losing trades, trading stock with a setup, with a real entry. And this could have kept going down. Like, it didn't work out that way this time. I think, because of the reasons we said, wide range day and shit in the background. So, other trade I took was BABA. What's the setup in BABA? Consumer cyclical sector, pronounced uptrend, for the short term culminated by an exhaustion gap, failure to go up after that, going sideways for the past 5 days, kind of a level at 135.20. So, if we got below here, I was looking for a short. So I kind of used the same train of thought as we used of the red dog reversal on this on the open. So we open down, we test down, and then immediately test back up through the priority is low, and start trading lower. So start going sideways right here. I got short like right in here, and had my stop up just above like maybe like a buck away. So trade started working here, and then came back and they got stopped out. So is this really an A+ setup? I don't know. Is there really like significant volume, like to say like, oh, I should have been trading this? Like, no. Was there any like panic happening below this level? No. Like the difference between the volume and BABA, which is still like well above average, but certainly not as great as these few days compared to Mattel, which was like a hell of a volume day. So it was like some real volume coming in that day. It was vastly different, but just making one good trade with coming off the sideways base, like having a daily chart set up, added to the confidence a lot. And if I don't take marginal shit like BABA, I have a much bigger like winning day than I did making just like a scant amount instead of a significant chop to kind of start like clawing my way back from being down. So it's not like I'm focusing on just like, oh, I need to make the money back every day, but it's just like if I make one good trade and stop having losing days, like that's going to take care of itself. So just a good example of like I think I'm getting my mind right again. I've been focused on the right shit, and so stock selection was 50% today. I don't think BABA was that good, but Mattel was definitely one of those I shouldn't have missed today. So coming into Friday, just want to try to finish the week strongly and have some confidence coming into Monday. So we're just going to wait for setups and see what happens later.